nice to be here. I feel I ought to work a little bit on my presentation skills. The last episode, my eye contact with the camera lens wasn't good, so perhaps people felt a bit cut off by that. So I've now positioned the candle directly behind the lens, so if it looks like I'm looking slightly past you, I'm looking at the candle. So first of all, thank you for being here. It's nice to welcome you back. I wonder if you've had any positive experience as a result of listening to the previous episodes. I know I have. Today I woke up really restless, so my energy was up, and that's after making 3 10-minute films yesterday on the subject of enthusiasm and dreaming. Very happy to explore that with people if they want to. So yeah, it's about bringing that positivity into daily life, and at the same time a little bit better on the dream recall last night. Just touching around the edges of dreams, but spent a good deal of time meditating with some of that energy that I shared with you, and that was helpful because it enabled something to move forward. It feels like I am moving forward by doing this, and I spent 15 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, just sensing the energy and kind of tying it together with the desire to dream. I have a dream. So I've got a few topics I want to discuss today. Quite happy to come back to flying dreams in particular on another occasion. But for now, I'd like to talk about dark energy. This is a counterpoint. In the yin-yang symbolism, you have light at the heart of every darkness and darkness at the heart of every light. It sounds pretty light and fluffy if I put it like that, but I think it's something like 94 or possibly 97% of the universe is unaccounted for in terms of its mass. What little reading I've done on it, the physicists have managed to kind of condense the picture of the universe, the model of the universe, so that the matter that actually occupies space or space-time represents only 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7% of everything. And in order to make sense of the way that galaxies spin, they've come up with this dark energy theory, which has been around for a while now. But I think it's getting to the point maybe where it's percolating into the mainstream. My experience of the mainstream is that it percolated into it a long time ago, 20 years ago, but I don't know who's listening, so... but the point I wanted to talk about, where it pertains to dreaming in particular, is that there are experiences of negative energy and dark energy and negative, evil or malicious, murderous creatures in the dream world, and one has to be resilient to them. But also I think it's important to, if you can, to bolster that resilience, it might be helpful to look at the science, or if you imagine the universe was, if we go back to the yin-yang symbol, you've got the, there's shape here, and you've got the spot there. That could be all the dense matter in the universe, and this could be the energy of the universe, which, although we can't see it, you feel it. I think you feel it every morning when you get up out of bed. And so it's a case of working with that energy, and it may be that the reflection, which is going to be like anyway, has something to teach us as well. The idea of the lightness of being, that when you come out of your body, you are lifting into a higher vibration or a different state of consciousness, a different vibratory perceptual acuity, or however you want to think of it. So you've got the physical, the gross form, which is hopefully not too gross, but then you've got the reflection, which is its equal, its counterpart, its mirror, its yang or yin, depending on where you feel yourself to be. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because dark energy for some people is a real problem. We have the problem of evil, and I think that one of the things that dreams are kind of code for is a way of understanding that energy and becoming more adult through it. So, if we were going to go really dark and talk about the atrocities that go on in the name of peace, there's all sorts of examples of people who have been in that situation in war and have come away permanently damaged by it. But I still think they have however cruel they were or however innocent they were, they still have the memory of that, and the kind of crisis point in their development is how do you deal with that level of trauma. So again, that's where I think dreams have something to offer, because they can kind of bounce or flip reality so that it looks very, very different, so that it feels very different. And if you were going to draw a parallel between the sort of psycho-babblish language of ego and superego, you've got the comfort of being who you are and yourself, and then you've got this reflection. And sometimes if you identify more with the kind of lower energy, then you're going to draw that in. I think you're going to attract it. This all sounds a bit kind of like I should have a chart here with 12 different personality types and how they each deal with the crisis of being alive. But I want to sort of slow it down, take it back to dreaming again. If I'm in that situation where I'm in a dialogue with a dark energy, what it feels like is that energy is way more powerful than I am. And any negotiation, any kind of tete-a-tete is going to be massively undermined by my fear and by its dominating the space, taking up 97% of the energy in the room. So I looked into this. Obviously I take bits and pieces of religion and I try to mesh them into some kind of coherent secularism, but I still believe that it's incumbent, whoever's doing the experience, it's incumbent on them to resolve that relationship with the dark energy, to understand it, to feel it, to channel it, to work with it, and not feel overwhelmed by it. I mean, being overwhelmed in itself is amazing, but you've got to find a way to I don't know what, you've got to find a way to just kind of live with it in a creative way or whatever. So one of the theories going is that when you come back into your body, there's this, if you're lucky enough to remember your dream or your lucid dream or your astral projection or your vivid dream well enough, when you come back in, there's that, just as you come back in, there's that sense of fear again, and it's like it felt when, it's kind of the same thing as when you first step out. You then come back, and there's this shock moment, there's this waking up moment, and I think some people are skilled enough, they develop the talent where they're able to come back in smoothly, and that process, if it's done smoothly, if it's done in a conscious and patient way. So, for instance, taking it in stages. So you come, rather than just going out, you're out in your dream doing whatever you want to do. You have a frightening event, or you have a trigger event, something which might wake you up, and then you think, all right, I've got to get back. I've got to get home to my body now, because otherwise I'm in danger. But it can be helpful, although I'm not, I'm only sort of running this off the bat. This isn't, something that I've personally done much of, but I think it's possible to, as you come back, you think of locations nearer to your body which are also safe. So you might, for instance, go for your garden or your patio, or before you then go into your house, go up to your room and drop back in, because in that way you're creating, in any great film, there's always an end sequence, and it's the end sequence which is kind of the bit where you think, right, I'm going to take stock of everything that's just happened. So you see the guy walking home, and they are, the camera kind of pulls back, but we can imagine in his reality that everything he's just been through, he's come to terms with or learnt to integrate, or assuming happy endings, of course. Okay, so that fear thing about coming back in, when you come back in, there's the trembling of, not sure how real this is, not sure what I'm going to do with all the amazing energy or the difficult stuff that I've just been involved with. But here it is, there's this moment where you come back in, step in, or drop in, and sometimes I've heard it's possible to meet resistance when you get into that situation. I know what it means to meet resistance on your way back in, where, for instance, the event might be challenging. The dream event might be so challenging that you're not able to, you feel stuck, or like you're running away from something and you can't accelerate, or the terror gets to a point where you don't know what to do with it. You're no longer able to make that transition, to make the logical transition, to think, right, I've got to go home to where it's safe, because you may be so wrapped up in your dream that you don't know that you're dreaming. So I'll just take a breath, excuse me. So some of the research that I've done has shown that it's possible to, or has suggested at least, that it's possible to enter into to be at two places at once, to be the person who's doing the dreaming and the person who's asleep on the bed, and that they are both real, they're both conscious, but in order to for the memories of the dream to transfer into the brain, into this, you know, physical body, or the 10% of matter that is, you know, you as well, you know what I'm getting at. So there has to be an energy transfer, and as I was describing, you know, it needs to be a smooth transfer in order for it to be successful. Although sometimes it's helpful, I think, it seems to me obvious, but if you have a situation in the dream which is terrifying or threatening, you can use that as a memory trigger. You can use that to remember you might have had a dream earlier which was completely different but a lot more relaxed or a lot more fun. So there's that. And I think I probably kind of riffed on some interesting, I hope, interesting stuff, but yeah, this whole thing about dark energy and people, you know, being religiously afraid, you know, assigning personality to that dark energy, means, okay, well, it still means the person is trying to relate. They're still trying to get into a situation where they have some measure of sentience or shared sentience, that the dark energy can be, as I was saying, worked with. So I don't know if I really made it clear enough at the beginning of this video, but I have experienced a lot of upwell of energy this morning, and it's definitely not the sunshine today that's doing that. I'm sure it's talking to you guys, which is helping. So once again, thank you for listening. If you want to say anything or get in touch, I'm always interested in hearing your comments. I don't have any agenda here. I just want to see where it goes. I mean, I kind of know where I want it to go, but without you guys, I'm rattling around the solar system like some little meteor. So you know, feedback is much appreciated, and I think that'll do for now. Thanks for listening.